Another one of the most important traits that we need to have present in our relationships is receptivity. Now, it's on the opposite end of the spectrum from responsiveness. Both are very, very vital in secure relationships. But being receptive means that you are open to receiving love and care, as well as open to your partner's emotions, words, doubts, um, suffering, anything that they're sharing with you. It's staying open to that and really letting the connection thrive. So let's talk a little bit about what being receptive is. So, like I said, it's staying open, and it's using curiosity to seek understanding rather than basically analyzing or interrogating someone and finding out what's going on with them. We ask gentle, more curious questions, like, well, I see you seem kind of down today. What's going on? Something like that that doesn't put someone on the defensive. It makes them relax and see that you are just trying to understand what's going on with you, with the partner. So it also, when we're receptive, we can stay in that intimacy a little bit longer. So someone with an avoidant attachment style might have trouble with intimacy, like being very close and feeling their own emotions as well as their partner's. But if we can stay in that discomfort just a little bit longer, that's being receptive, and that lets the connection grow and become stronger. As I just said, if you are receptive, you allow your own emotions to surface and guide you. You are open to them. You don't try to suppress them. You don't try to distract yourself. You actually let your emotions rise. You feel them and let them kind of guide you. Let them help you make decisions. That is the purpose of emotions. So often we are taught to kind of squelch our emotions and move on with life and do things and not pay attention to the sadness we have that's coming up in us, or the anger. But sometimes we need to feel those and be open to them, and be open to those emotions that our partner is showing, and see what's happening. They give you a good read. They can also guide you and help you make decisions. When we are talking with a partner, or we're listening to them, we need to listen to exactly what they say and not get carried away with our own reactions, our own history, something that they said reminds us of something from our past, and then we go down the rabbit hole and forget to listen to them. It doesn't work. That's not being receptive. That's basically thinking about yourself and coloring your response with your own story. So it's really hard to do. And basically, I want to admit that with all of these, I've struggled. You'll see in the next slide some other things about listening, but it's not easy to be receptive. You would think receiving would be easier than being responsive, and in some ways it is, but in other ways it's more difficult to just be open and receive without reacting or judging or putting your own spin on things. I know, like, here's an example of coloring what somebody says with your own story or worries. I've worked with couples when I hear, well, she said she was tired last night and didn't want to have sex. Well, I took that as she wasn't attracted to me anymore. She never wants to have sex again. She's she's not attracted to me in a sexual way. And all this is the partner's coloring of what the wife said in this case. She said she was tired. Now, if your partner is saying they're tired every night for sex, too tired for sex, that needs to be explored. But if this is an occasional thing, chances are your partner's just tired and they don't feel up for an exciting lovemaking session. So we just have to remember not to go too far down the line and take things too personally, for one, which is basically coloring with your own story, your own worries, your own insecurities, but actually listen to your partner, because maybe they had a really long day. Maybe the kids were crazy that day, or something big happened at work that made them really tired, or they worked overtime. That is what your partner's telling you. That's what you want to listen to, and stay open to their exact words and not filter through your own worries, fears, history, etc. And we want to allow ourselves to receive love and support. And this can be really tough for people who are, caretakers and people pleasers, and they might take on those roles and not be great about receiving. And we're going to talk about them in a second. So these two roles that are very common make it tough to be open to receive love. These two types of people or roles that many of us play kind of are outward givers and supporters, but not great at receiving. So caretakers, they give up pieces of themselves to care for others. They keep themselves busy with the needs and wants of the other people in their lives. And they often see others as helpless or incapable of taking care of themselves. Now, the classic caretaker is the mom in a family, set up, or at least one of the parents. And that's where mom has to take care of the children all the time. They can't take care of themselves. I have to do it. Therefore, I'm busy all the time caring for others. I don't really have time, nor do I think of it as important or vital to receive love myself. And sometimes caretakers have low self-worth. They think that they need to be needed or earn their love in order to be loved. And this is not true. And obviously it doesn't make us receptive to love. It keeps us kind of closed off. The other role that people play often is the people pleaser. And this is also a role where someone gives up pieces of themselves to care for others. So they're giving love outwardly, but not receiving it easily. They see others as strong and capable, and they want to be like them, or they want to be part of their team. So they work really hard to gain someone else's approval, to, prove their own merit and earn the love or attention that they're seeking. But with all the output, everything that they're giving to others, they're not really open to receiving love. And that can be very detrimental to the relationship and the connection. At some point, they're going to get exhausted and be maybe even resentful, or just wonder who they are and how can you love someone when they're not really showing you who they are or showing you their emotions. They're just giving, 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 which people love that, obviously. Who doesn't like it when someone cares for you? But there needs to be a give and take, and there needs to be receptivity on the people pleaser or caretaker's part so that the connection can happen. So keep those people pleasers and caretakers in mind. And if you are one, think about how you can be more receptive. You can open yourself to intimacy and connection a little bit more. Now let's talk about what Julie Simon in the book When Food is Comfort, she calls conscious listening killers. Now you're trying to be open and listen well to your loved one. You want to be receptive to what they're saying. But instead, maybe you find yourself being evaluative or judgmental. And this is the quickest way to shut down presence. When we start judging what our partner is saying instead of really listening, we are no longer present with them. We are thinking about, oh, well, that was stupid, or that was really great, or I can't believe she said that, and she always says this, and blah blah. When we're judging what the content of our loved ones, verbalizations are, or we're judging the content, and that again kind of shuts us off from connection. We're not being present. We're not really listening. We are judging and deciding whether or not what they're saying is true or right or wrong. And this, like I said, is just not conscious listening or connecting. The same thing when we jump to problem solving or fixing whatever our partner is saying to us. Now, sometimes it feels nice to have someone help problem solve with you. I will admit I like that sometimes. And by the way, these conscious listening killers, again, are something, these three things are things I have struggled with and worked on for a long time, and they're not easy to conquer. But the more conscious of them you are, the more connection and the safer your partner's going to feel. So I urge you to work on these two, and I just want you to know I'm with you because I have struggled with these as well. The fixing part, sometimes it feels dismissive if we're like, oh, well, I can take care of that. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. I can do this, this, and this, and we can do this. And it kind of rushes the person through their process of whatever they're saying. If they're telling you how they're feeling, you're sharing what's inside of them with you, you are missing the chance to connect with them by being with them in those feelings, by rushing into a solution. That way, like I said, it just seems like you want to get it over with and fix whatever they're saying and move on instead of really listen to them. And the same thing with diverting. If we are quick to say, oh, well, at least this didn't happen, or, well, look on the bright side, this could have been way worse. It could have been this, this, and this. And again, it seems kind of dismissive, or like you're rushing them through what they're saying as if, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. Why are you, making such a fuss over this? And it's basically shutting down the true listening where you would hear their emotions. You would hear what they're trying to say. We need to not color with our own history, but also not quickly push aside what they're saying and try to get through it. We actually need to be there for them and be open to what they're saying and be with them more in their emotions. Actually take the time to slow down, take a few breaths, sit with them, maybe sit close to them, hold their hand, whatever, look into their eyes, but really truly listen so they feel felt. Remember, we talked about what connection is, and part of it is feeling known on the inside and feeling felt, like our emotions, what we're experiencing, our partner feels too, to some degree, so they understand us. So take that time. Don't rush with diversions and solutions, or just diminish with evaluations or judgments. All right, now let's go back through what we started with. Here's the first slide about being receptive. Now, again, it's just a summary, but we want to stay open and be more curious than evaluative or problem solving. So ask questions that don't put your partner on the defensive. Make them kind of innocent and gentle, and ask like you're sort of looking at something really precious that you want to look at every angle and just take in. So you ask questions about it to know more about it, just like you would ask your partner questions to know more about them so you can gain understanding. And that will make that's being receptive to your partner. And we have to allow emotions to surface, theirs and ours, and let them guide us, and not just squelch them, but actually listen. And then, like we said, listen to exactly what is said. Try not to think too much about how it affects us, what we would do in their place, what experiences we've had in the past that were similar. We just want to listen to what they say and respond exactly to what they say. And then we want to allow yourself to receive and love and support. So if you're a caretaker or a people pleaser, notice when you put on those hats, those roles, but who are you behind those roles? Let those roles fall by the wayside sometimes and be receptive to love from others instead of always giving and caretaking. Be receptive to others. So being receptive makes connection much easier. So I highly recommend working on that. And like I said, it's not easy, I know, but it is important.